friends, it is Natalie, and this is the first video in my new series, Celebrity Book Clubs Review. That's right, I said clubs, plural, more than one. We are going to be talking about Oprah's book club. We are going to be talking about Jenna Bush Hager's book club, also known as #ReadWithJenna, and we are going to continue to talk about Emma Roberts' book club, the Bellatrix book club. You are not going to want to miss this. Please stay tuned. So I will no longer be doing my Emma Roberts book club review. We're obviously going to stick Emma Roberts book club right into this video series, but we still need to review the books from last month. So let's start there. Also, real quick, I know that it is May 31st. The Celebrity Book Club review is not going to be something this late in the month normally. Starting next month, it's going to be more in the middle of the month. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew that. So the April pick for Emma Roberts book club, also known as the Bellatrix book club, was Writers and Lovers by Lily King. I really did enjoy this pick. I ended up giving it 4 stars. The main character in this book is a young woman named Casey. She's 31 years old and she's kind of at a crossroads in her life. And I was reading a Goodreads book review by Elise Walters and she summed this character up perfectly, so I am taking from what she said. She said, Casey is a struggling writer. Casey used to be a prodigy at golf at the age of 14. She has a lot of debt and is desperately trying to gain some financial independence. She has a few medical problems and she is really wanting to find romance and love in her life. And I say that she's at a crossroads because she's also dealing with her mother's death and a huge breakup. Now, the character of Casey is very likable, very relatable, and this book kind of reminded me of Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine in the way that it's about everyday things. A lot of the scenes are taking place at the restaurant she works at. But because Lily King is such a great writer, she can talk about everyday things and still make the book a page turner. So that's why I say it's like Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. You know, we don't have time travel, we're not going into outer space, there's not major, plot devices like that. It's just a simple story, but it is done really well. So I do recommend you pick this up if you get a chance. Before we talk about the makeup book I did for the Emma Roberts / Bellatrix book club, I want to remind you to please hit subscribe and please hit that notification bell since I do not have an upload schedule. And you can also follow me on Instagram and that is down in the description. So I decided to do a makeup book and I read The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. And it is so crazy that I read this book right now when we're dealing with quarantine and pandemics, because this is kind of what this book is about, just on a smaller scale. Now, this pandemic all happens in a small college town, and it's a sleeping sickness where people literally go to sleep and they do not wake up. Sometimes they pass away, or sometimes they just continue to sleep for a really long time. Now, I said last month that the synopsis kind of implied that they were going to be in a REM state and that they were probably having really crazy dreams. But the book really didn't focus on that. It really focused on the characters that were not affected. Well, not affected directly by the illness. They had relatives that were affected or friends that were affected, but the main characters were just dealing with everything going on in the town. Now, this book is told in a distant third person. There are so many characters because the author, I believe, was really trying to give you so many different points of view. You have characters who are worried about their children because they have this illness or might have this illness. You have children who their parents have this illness and they've kind of been left on their own. You have college students. You have all these different kinds of people reacting differently to this pandemic that's hit this small town. And the small town has been cut off from the rest of the country. You literally are not allowed to leave. They did talk about people wearing masks, people wearing gloves, people doing social distancing. So this is actually a really good time to pick up this book. I found it really interesting, relatable, and I gave it 4 stars. And since I just reviewed 2 of Emma Roberts' book picks, we might as well talk about her May pick, which is The Book of V. And guys, I am so excited. This book sounds amazing. This book is about 3 female characters who all have riveting stories, and they are happening in different places and different times, but somehow their stories are going to collide and overlap. And when I tell you what I know so far about these women, I am curious to see how that's going to happen. Our first main character is Lily. She lives in Brooklyn, New York in 2016. She always dreamt of being a writer, but right now she's focused on being a mother. And from what the synopsis says, she's trying to kind of find a balance between being a mother and trying to pursue her dreams. Our second main character is Vivian. She is a dedicated dedicated politician's wife who is set in Washington in the Watergate era, so we're talking early 1970s. And like I said, she's very dedicated to her husband until her husband demands some kind of humiliating favor that not only changes the course of her life, but other people's lives. Of course, I don't know what this favor is, but I'm interested to find out. Our third main character is Esther. She's a young, independent woman in ancient Persia. And the tribe that she lives in is going to offer her up as some kind of sacrifice to the king in order for him to save her people. So that's three different women in three totally different situations. So like I said, very excited to see how these stories are going to overlap. Now, the latest Oprah book club pick is called Hidden Valley Road, Inside the Mind of an American Family by Robert, I think it's Coker. And this is one big book. This is the true story of an American family living the American dream after World War II. But what makes this family very, very interesting is that they have 12 children. Well, that's not what makes it interesting. They have 12 children and 6 of them end up being diagnosed with schizophrenia. So they are one of the first families that are being studied by the National Institute of Health. And being that one of my college degrees is in psychology, I can't wait to find out what is going on in this family to have 6 children with schizophrenia. I will definitely let you know if it's worth reading. And then our Jenna Bush Hager / Read with Jenna book is all adults here. I love her little Read with Jenna that she has on that. I think that's really cute. This is by Emma Straub. And the tagline for this book is, "Coming of age is not just for kids." The main character in this is Astrid. She's the mother of 3 grown children, and she has a secret that she's starting to feel comfortable that maybe she can share with her family. But supposedly a forgotten memory comes to the forefront of her mind, and it really bothers her, and she wonders whatever happened in this memory, how that event affected her children. And it's a memory from when her children were very young. It makes her start doubting whether she was a good mother or not, and also makes her wonder if it's not too late to set things straight. So I'm very curious to see what this memory is that has her so bothered. And then the other characters in the book are her 3 grown children. The youngest child is named Nicky. Supposedly he is very unfocused and he is making a lot of parenting mistakes of his own. Her middle child is a daughter named Porter who is pregnant, and she's trying to deal with the fact that she's going to have to give up a lot of things from her adolescence before this baby arrives. And her oldest son is named Elliot, who measures his success by standards that nobody else would follow. So I don't know if that means he has really high expectations. I'm not sure. That's kind of what I think it's implying. And I want to read the last paragraph of the synopsis because I think it kind of gives us a really better idea of what this book is. It says, Emma Straub's unique alchemy of wisdom, humor, and insight come together in this deeply satisfying story about adult siblings, aging parents, high school boyfriends, middle school mean girls, the lifelong effects of birth order, and all the other things that follow us into adulthood, whether we like them or not, which I think makes this the perfect title. All adults here, but they're dealing with things that have affected them their entire lives. Now, if you are new to this channel and you kind of stumbled across this video, you might be going, Reese Witherspoon has a book club. She has a great book club. I actually have a separate video series on Reese Witherspoon's book club. I'll make sure to put some cards up if you would like to check that out. But thank you so much for watching my first Celebrity Book Clubs review, and the next one should be in a couple of weeks. So I will see you soon. Bye.